Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. The storms of life will come, and the storms of life deplete our hope. We start to feel fearful. We feel discouraged. We feel hopeless at times. We don't see an end to the situation we're in. Maybe we're praying. Others are praying for us, but it becomes almost like a chronic type of situation. We can't see the way out. And we as humans reach a dead end with hope. Our hope is depleted. And let me tell you, once our hope is depleted, God's hope can kick in. I used to have a turbocharged car. The engine was turbocharged. And so when you needed an extra boost in an emergency situation to get out of it, you press all the way down and it kicks into high revolution and it gets you out of there. But if you didn't have it, maybe you'd be in a tight situation and you'd have your foot all the way to the gas and you still don't have enough to get out of that dangerous situation on the highway. But when you have turbo, you press your foot to the floor and it suddenly gives you that extra boost and you get away. That's what God's hope is like. We reach the end of our hope, human hope, and then God's hope will kick in. I would call it hope beyond hope. I want to have hope in my life beyond hope, beyond what my eyes see, beyond what my mind can perceive or imagine or plan. I want hope beyond hope. Let me give you the background of the scriptures today. You can watch the video from yesterday also. Paul is a prisoner. He's on his way to Rome. A centurion is in charge of him and some other prisoners. They're taking a ship across the Mediterranean Sea. They made the mistake of sailing in a time when safe sailing was past. Now they're caught in the middle of a hurricane force storm. And it's been days and they haven't even seen the sun or the stars, and everyone loses hope. They're at the end of their hope, except for Paul. Listen to Acts 27, verse 22 through 25. It says this. This is Paul speaking. But now I urge you to keep up your courage, because not one of you will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. Last night, an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I serve stood beside me and said, "Do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand trial before Caesar. And God has graciously given you the lives of all who serve with you. So keep up your courage, men, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as he told me." So let's look at that. This is hope beyond hope. Nobody has any hope, but something in Paul or outside of Paul gives him hope in a hopeless situation. Maybe you're watching this or you're watching my videos for the first time and you're in a hopeless situation. God connected you so you would learn there's hope beyond hope. So Paul starts by saying, now I urge you to keep up your courage. Courage is something that has to be maintained. It's like driving a car with a gas tank full. Eventually the tank will go down. You got to fill it up. It's a whole lesson in that, how to keep yourself spiritually strong. And then he says, because not one of you will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. When we're in a storm of life, Many times, if not most times, when we get out of the storm, things will be different. The ship will not be there anymore. Whatever that ship represents will not be there. Our life will be changed, but we have hope that we will have a new life and will build a new life after the storm. So he speaks hope to them. He gives them a vision of the future beyond the present circumstance. And you and I, when we're in a storm of life, need someone to speak hope into us, to give us a vision of the future. So then he says, last night, an angel of God, to whom I belong and whom I serve, stood beside me and said. Can you imagine that? An angel of God came on the ship in the middle of a storm. God will be with you in the middle of the storm. And God will meet you right when you need it. Not when you want it, not when you think you need it, but God will come to you when you need it. Now, Paul, why did the angel? Let me do it this way. Let me ask you a question. Why did the angel go to Paul and not to anybody else? The answer? Paul had a relationship with God before the storm came. So again, that reminds me, I have to build my relationship strong with God before the storms of life come, because they will come. Paul is in a storm. He's serving God, but he's still in a storm. But because he has the relationship with God, an angel appears to him. And the first words out of the angel's mouth are, "Do not be afraid, Paul." So no matter what happens, my brothers and sisters, to you and I, if we're following Jesus Christ, if we've surrendered our life to him, if we're in his hands, we do not have to be afraid. And then he says this, and this is powerful. When I saw this, it just amazed me. The angel says to him, "You must stand trial before Caesar." You must see, Paul had a purpose for his life, and his purpose was going to be fulfilled. Nothing could prevent his God-given purpose from being fulfilled. And way back in the beginning of the book of Acts, God said to Ananias that Paul was his chosen instrument, and he will testify to the Gentiles and their kings, including Caesar. So nothing can happen to Paul that will prevent him from completing his purpose. Think about that. Realize what that means. If God has given you a purpose, you will complete it. So all these things that happen in the meantime, they can't prevent it from happening. Spend some time meditating on that part. And then he says, "And God has graciously given you the lives of all who sail with you." So, God is gracious. That's God's character. In the times of suffering, of a storm, we remember God is gracious, God is merciful, God is compassionate, God is loving, God is just. We remember those things, and we base our hope on God's character, not on our situation. Then he says, "So keep up your hope, men, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as he told you." Stand on what God said to you, no matter what happens. Stand on God's word, no matter what happens. You and I, let's cross the line and have hope beyond hope. I hope that helps you today if you're in a storm, and if not, save the video, because you will be in a storm one day, and what you will need is hope beyond hope. God bless you. See you tomorrow.